On our first episode, buying a house can seem overwhelming. You might not know where to begin. Our first guest will show you where to start.
Fischer Homes presents Welcome Home with John and Toria.
Welcome, friends, to the Fischer Homes podcast with John and Toria. On today's show, we welcome our very first guest for the podcast series, Alisha Woodeshick, new home specialist at Fischer Homes. And what better way to kick off the series than with a specialist who knows all the ins and outs of a new home?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
Just to begin, so how did you all start your new home search process?
Well,
Tori.
I would sit on FischerHomes.com at work until my boss is not listening.
Yeah.
And I went through all the homes that I liked.
Gotcha.
And then I would copy and paste and send them to John. And from there, we would kind of weasel out. And then he'd send me it was almost like naming a baby. You know, he'd throw out his options, I'd throw out mine, and then we kind of narrowed it down, and then we went to the models.
Everybody's got their veto.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't give any options. It was all...
You gave options with high ceilings, and then I was like, ooh, I changed my mind.
Touche.
Yeah.
You're right. I would be on the air and I'd hear bing bong, and it's a message from her. Another house.
There would be
Hey,
like
look.
5 houses for him to look at.
Guess what I found? Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I guess we're building a house.
So speaking of the Fischer Homes website, we were on there. We loved what we saw. But from there, then what?
So the first step in the new home search process is after you've kind of built on the website and kind of familiarized yourself, is you contact us to schedule a visit of one of our decorated models. And with that being said, you don't have to have a community picked out. You don't have to have a floor plan picked out. Just a general area, basic price range. Give us a call, and then we'll go from there and we'll take care of you.
What is the best way to get a hold of a new home specialist?
Oh my gosh, we have got every option like known to man. You can text, you can call, you can email, you can chat.
Are you on Snapchat?
You can find me that way if you want to, and I will make sure to take care of you. I have had people Facebook message me that know me. They're like, "Hey, you work at Fischer Homes. Can I schedule time to come in?"
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Pretty sure. I'm sure soon we'll have like skywriting. Basically, every form of communication you have on your phone, you can use to access Fischer
Pigeon
Homes.
carrier.
Basically, I'll figure it out. Give me a holler, and we'll go from there.
So do you have to be pre-qualified to meet with a community specialist?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So many people, that's a huge misconception, is a lot of people think when they start looking for a home and they want to come in, then they need to be like, have all their ducks in a row and come with a binder of everything they've got, their pre-qual letter, all that. You don't need your ducks in a row. You don't even need ducks. Just know that you want to build said house. You have a general idea of what you want to spend, and we will help you from there. And if anything, I honestly think it's better to come in without preconceived notions and without like all that information, because then we can help guide you.
Yeah.
Because most of the time people are so surprised at what they're able to build and what they're able to afford. So don't worry about that. We can help with all that.
I think we can both say that this is where we stood when we started this process. What if we don't know what we're looking for in a new home? I mean, it was like she mentioned, she sent me 5 different houses a day and we still didn't know what we were looking for.
That's perfectly fine. Like it can be very intimidating. This is one of the biggest purchases the majority of people make.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you don't know. We can help with that. And again, I think it's better to come in without preconceived notions, because you may come in thinking, I want a ranch on a slab. And then you walk out and you're like, okay, apparently we're building a 5-level split. Didn't know that was a thing.
That's literally what we did.
That's what we said.
She wanted a ranch.
We had
And I wanted
walked
the
through a
5-level.
model home ranch, and then we walked through the 5-level, and we were like, where do we sign?
Well, exactly. And I was talking with Carrie with it the other day, and like I compared it to almost like wedding dress shopping. Like you go in, you're like, I'm going to have an A-line. It's very simple. And then you leave and you're like, I have a glitter ball gown and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what just happened.
That was me.
What's an
For us.
A-line?
We can get into that later.
Another thing to kind of take the pressure off, because then other people are like, oh, I don't want a hard sell. Like I'm just looking, like we don't know what we're doing yet. We're just kind of thinking. That's okay. And honestly, that's the best time to come in. It's an appointment. It is not an obligation. It is not a contract. It's information gathering. And what I tell people a lot of times on the phone, like, this is just a benefit to you. This is just so that you can come in, see what we have to offer, go over the options, go over pricing, go over lots. And if we're a fit for you, fantastic. That's the biggest thing. Like, don't be intimidated by it. Don't think it's a hard sell. Everyone at Fischer is just here to help you decide whether or not we're going to be the fit for you.
What if you're someone who is just looking and you have no idea, and you're like a year or two out from like making the decision?
I think it's still great to schedule a time to come in, because even if you're a year or two out, we can still come in and provide that information for you. Because that's one of the hardest things, I think, is like you guys were just talking earlier, is narrowing down. Start as soon as possible, because if you basically the entire designer collection on our website, we can help you narrow down those choices and kind of really hone in on what it is that you really want. That way, even if you are a year out, we can still start that process now, so that when you are ready to pull the trigger, you already know what plan, you know what community, you know what price range, and you know what cabinets.
Window shopping, Tori. You wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
We're talking about the lead up. What can I expect during the actual appointment?
Okay, this is the super, super fun part. This is where you actually get to come visit a community. So you get to actually tour the community itself, and then you get to come into a decorated model.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the daydream. That's the fabulous. When you get to come in and walk through the rooms and kind of start envisioning yourself in your new home. That's awesome. And then in addition to that, you also get to sit down one-on-one with an on-site specialist and get down into the nitty-gritty of things, floor plans, options, lots, so they can kind of help narrow down on that end. And then like we talked about earlier with pre-qualification, if you've not been pre-qualified, they can walk you through that piece as well and get that process started. So they can really provide a lot of information. So that's why it's so beneficial to really make sure that you've scheduled that time, you've reserved that hour with an on-site specialist, because they're going to go over everything and you're going to leave there with a full picture of what Fischer can do for you.
Our specialist gave us beverages.
Oh yeah, and there's snacks too.
And snacks, yes.
And
don't
snacks.
forget the snacks.
Don't
food
forget
boy.
the snacks. There is a whole array of snacks and beverages.
Toward the end, I was by myself in the corner of the room.
Definitely a highlight. Just don't be overwhelmed. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is shopping for a home. You get to look at pretty houses. This is
Getting
great.
better than that.
Nothing gets better than that.
It might be better than wedding dress shopping.
It is. This is fun. We know it's a big decision. This is the biggest investment that the majority of people make, and we understand the importance of that, and we understand how scary that is. So we try to provide as much information as possible to help you with that. We know your time is valuable, so we work with your schedule. So we've got appointments throughout the week and on weekends. We've even scheduled appointments with people via FaceTime if they live out of state. We will make it work. Again, appointment is non-obligation. It's an information gathering session. And it's also okay if you come in and you're not 100% prepared, other than I want to buy a house. This is what I want to spend. That's a great jumping off point. It's not a problem. And we're here to help you every step of the way. So just know that with Fischer, from the beginning to the end, you have a point of contact that will answer the phone when you call through every step of the process. And you can always circle back to us as well. Believe me, we're there in all ways.
And we can vouch for all of that. And the drinks and the snacks. Well, I feel better all over again. Don't you?
Yeah.
Alisha, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.
And join us on our next episode with Steve Whaley as we break down used versus new. Do you want the fresh toilet seat or the used one?
Something to think about, kids. Something to think about.
I got that.
Oh!
Thanks for listening to Welcome Home with John and Toria, presented by Fischer Homes. Continue the journey to your new home at FischerHomes.com.